We're heading to a tiny town where a group of racers is breaking all the rules, driving cars on ice on a frozen lake. Rough and tumble vehicles pieced together from junkyard finds. Rebecca Jarvis goes home to Minnesota to meet these winter weekend warriors.
Slipping and sliding like this may be your worst nightmare. But all across the country, it's becoming the ultimate thrill seeker's delight. This is the wild world of ice car racing. Think NASCAR on ice. So I've come to my home state of Minnesota, where I've heard that in the sleepy town of LaPorte, winter doesn't seem to be slowing anyone down.
Coming down to the ice racing is just, great Sunday afternoon activity, even if it's just, to grill.
Every icy weekend, anyone with a car and a stomach for speed can compete. Of all the drivers revving their engines, there's just one woman, Colette Houston, known to friends and family as Letty. She's among the top 5 contenders this season.
It's total girl power. You just feel like so, I don't know, pumped up.
How does it feel to have your wife be the only woman out on that track?
It actually makes me pretty proud because she's the only woman that does it. It's pretty cool. It kind of gives me bragging rights.
Husband Ryan is a police officer.
That's the lovely work vehicle.
Together, they spend a lot of their free time on the ice. In these close quarters, doing some fishing.
Here, fishy, fishy.
Or duking it out on the racetrack.
Follow right, follow right.
You're competing against each other.
Yes.
How's that?
Marriage therapy on ice.
You just work out all your troubles on the track?
Yep, we do.
They always make us start next to each other. I don't know if it's a game they play or they're testing us or what.
With one final race to go this season, last-minute preparations are underway.
Shake and bake, baby.
The stakes are high. Whoever wins gets bragging rights for an entire year. Ryan and Letty are facing fierce competition from an entire family. Meet the Doties. Dad, Charlie, a 20-year ice racing veteran.
It's not as good as new, but it's good enough to race. I've done it off and on since 1988. I was 16 when I started.
His sons following in his footsteps, Cody and Nathan, who's just 15.
How old do you have to be to get a license in Minnesota?
16.
16.
Yep.
So before you have your license, you start ice racing?
You got to have a permit.
Mom Paula, official scorekeeper for the league,
And maybe take these 3 bolts out.
is even on board.
It's about the fun. It's about the family time. It's about being with our kids, not having the cell phone, not having the television. They're learning about riding on ice, driving on ice. It's a huge, wonderful experience.
And I'm learning on game day, I may have to ignore some of the lessons of my youth.
Growing up in Minnesota, I think every kid, when they get their license, is probably told by their mom, never drive onto a lake in the wintertime.
And she was right. Driving on frozen lakes can be very dangerous. So before anyone steps on the ice, industrial drills are used to make sure it is thick enough.
So this is thick enough?
This is we got a little over 2 feet of ice right here. The sheriff will not let us start race unless we have 15 inches.
This is not a free-for-all. Every car must pass safety inspection.
You gotta have a fire extinguisher in your car. You gotta wear a seatbelt. Any kids under 12 years old gotta wear helmets.
Under 12 helmet.
Yeah.
But not over 12.
No.
Why not over 12?
I know. I've kind of said this for years. I said everybody should have a helmet on out there, but they don't.
So
And before I can talk myself out of it, Ryan's showing me the ropes.
Here we go.
This would be the moment, if you're actually driving on the road, that your heart would be in your throat.
Yep.
Offering up tried and true lessons for any driver caught in a slippery scenario. Tip 1, reduce your speed.
What's the worst thing you can do in a car in this kind of environment on the ice?
Panic.
Tip 2, go easy on the brakes.
The worst thing you can do is lock the brakes up.
Tip 3, turn into the slide.
If your back starts sliding to the right, then you turn to the right, and it'll straighten itself out.
Thank you so much.
Problem.
I can imagine once there are 32 cars on that track and they're all spitting out like that, it's not gonna feel good.
In the final drivers meeting, a word of caution.
Listen up. Slow down in these pits.
And I've seen today a lot of spinning in the pit. That's how you're gonna get hit, or you're gonna hit somebody.
The flag drops, the racers take off.
Holy smokes. Am I nervous? No, I just don't like the competition. Charlie, Cody, and Nathan are all in this race.
The conditions are slushy. Letty Houston quickly loses control. Good news for Paula's boys.
If he can do well in this race, that'll make a difference for him in the end.
But then son Nathan spins out. In the end, the ice wins. None of our racers come out on top.
I lost.
Yeah.
It's very wet.
But to this crew, there's no such thing as defeat. After all, another winter is right around the corner.
There's always
That's
next
right.
year.
So next year we'll go back at it.
For Nightline, I'm Rebecca Jarvis in LaPorte, Minnesota.